If there's one place in the world where you can gaze at turquoise seas while running a billion-dollar scamming network, unfortunately, it's not a Hollywood movie. It's real, and it's happening in Southeast Asia. The breezy beaches of Cambodia, the dazzling lights of Sihanoukville, the glittering casinos of Myanmar, and the high-tech towers of Manila all hide a dark truth. Southeast Asia has become the global capital of cybercrime. The United Nations has called it the world's scam production hub, while Interpol describes it as the Wild West of digital crime. So why Southeast Asia? How did a dynamic, youthful region with hundreds of millions of internet users become a paradise for cybercriminals? Let's start with geography. Southeast Asia has one of the most complex border systems on the planet. Over 25,000 kilometers of land borders between countries, stretching across forests, mountains, rivers, and seas, with hundreds of small official crossings and thousands of informal trails. That makes controlling movement of people and money almost impossible. For example, traveling from Thailand into Myanmar or from Vietnam into Cambodia can make you disappear from official control systems in a matter of hours. Kingpins have exploited this to build illegal enclaves, a kind of new golden triangle, not for drug trafficking like before, but for human trafficking and online scams. On top of that, many countries in the region have weak legal and security frameworks. Laws often exist only on paper. Enforcement is another story. In Cambodia or Myanmar, many scam compounds even have armed guards and connections with local authorities. In some places, the police live in the same compounds as the criminals. If there's any difference, it's just their clothes. And then there's the human factor. The whole region has more than 700 million people, roughly 60% of whom are under 35. In other words, a very young population. What does that mean? Young people use the internet heavily, pick up technology fast, and want to make money quickly. The paradox is, although they are heavy internet users and technologically savvy in some ways, their cybersecurity skills and financial literacy are extremely poor. According to the International Telecommunications Union, more than 80% of internet users in the region have never been trained to spot online scams. That rings true. Look at us. We pick up our phones and get online. We use computers, but there's little formal training. In many countries like Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and the Philippines, more than half the population still lacks formal bank accounts. They are easy to lure into investing through fake finance apps, phantom crypto exchanges, or classic slogans like easy work, high pay. So criminals have the first ingredient, a huge pool of people online to exploit. Another factor is the cheap labor. Scam operations need lots of staff, typists, chatters, phone callers, people posing as lovers online. In developed countries, hiring like this is expensive and easier to detect. In Southeast Asia, you can hire a full-time worker for just a few $100s a month. As scamming becomes a profession, recruitment becomes an industry. Many victims are lured into foreign companies offering high pay and free housing. They don't realize they're walking into scam camps where they are beaten, locked up, and forced to defraud others. Finally, money. Virtual money, cryptocurrencies, digital wallets, all make it effortless for cybercriminals to launder funds. Many exchanges are set up solely to move scammed money abroad. It's estimated that over 60% of the crypto laundered annually in Asia flows through Southeast Asia. Tracing the money here is nearly impossible. Cambodia has already become infamous and is the subject of countless stories, so in this video we won't talk about Cambodia again. Instead, we'll look at a few other places that may surprise you. If we turn back time a bit, before the world began talking about Cambodia as the new scam capital of Southeast Asia, that title once belonged to the Philippines. From the early 2000s until around 2016, the Philippines was truly the king of international scam networks, both legal and underground, operating with the sophistication of real multinational corporations. In the early 2000s, the Philippines became the largest outsourcing hub in Asia. Its citizens spoke fluent English, wages were low, and the country's telecom infrastructure was among the best in the region. Hundreds of foreign companies, from banks to insurance firms, rushed to Manila to open customer service centers, what we now call call centers. Today, scams happen through phone screens, but back then they happened through phone lines, since mobile phones were not yet as advanced. Inside those brightly lit office buildings were countless ghost call centers. They didn't call to help customers, they called to scam them. Americans, Britons, Canadians, and mostly Westerners, since phones were still rare in much of Asia. Their scripts were pre-written. They posed as bank employees, as software technicians, sometimes pretending to be from Microsoft, or as IRS agents. Many virtual victims were tricked or threatened to reveal personal information, credit card details, or transfer money for technical support. Shockingly, these scam centers operated just like legitimate businesses. They had HR departments, training programs, and even commission bonuses for successful scams. For more than a decade, the Philippines was both the paradise of legitimate call centers and the haven of international scam syndicates. The peak came in 2016, when a group of hackers breached Bangladesh's central bank and stole a total of $81 million through the international payment system. The money was transferred to 4 bank accounts in the Philippines, then quickly laundered through Manila's casinos, where hundreds of millions of dollars flow daily without detailed reporting. When the case was exposed, the world was stunned. No one expected a money laundering scheme of that scale to unfold in the capital of a close U.S. ally. Ironically, at the time, the Philippines had no anti-money laundering laws covering casinos, so the money flowed through them as if it had never existed. By the time investigators traced the funds, only $15 million was recovered. The rest vanished into the pockets of those behind the scheme. Today, the Philippines has changed. Its legitimate call center industry still thrives, employing over 1.3 million people and generating more than $30 billion a year. But now, all transactions, calls, and data are strictly monitored. The government enforces transparency, and any center under suspicion can be shut down immediately. Moving on to Myanmar, another dark zone for cybercrime in Southeast Asia. Along the Myanmar-Thailand border lies a place called KK Park, which has become a symbol of digital crime. On paper, it's a special economic zone, but in reality, it's a massive crime hub. Dozens of high-rises, thousands of detained workers, and millions of U.S. dollars generated daily through investment scams, romance scams, and financial fraud. China, Thailand, and the United Nations have all exerted pressure, but Myanmar's government remains powerless. The central authorities have no control over the area. Local armed groups protect and profit from these operations, to the extent that a UN official once said the area resembles a criminal state. And don't think Southeast Asian criminals only target locals. According to Interpol, over 70% of the victims of scams originating from Southeast Asia are Europeans, Americans, or Japanese. Americans lose an average of $3,000 per case. Japanese investors are tricked into crypto scams run out of Cambodia. Some British victims have even been blackmailed with explicit videos, coerced under threat. Because the profits are enormous, many criminal syndicates treat scamming as a professional industry, with recruitment, training, performance metrics, and sales bonuses. Just like a real company, sometimes even paying better than legitimate jobs. The only difference is that their product isn't a service or commodity, it's people's trust. To sum up, there are a few key reasons why Southeast Asia has become a paradise for cybercrime. First, the economic gap is massive. In places where a person earns only $200 a month, the promise of making $1,000 online is the perfect trap. Poverty, unemployment, and inequality make people vulnerable. Some willingly become tools for criminals. Second, laws haven't kept up with technology. Many Southeast Asian nations lack cyber police, extradition agreements, and international cooperation. Meanwhile, the crime networks have money, tech, and powerful connections. Third, cybercrime has no borders. Criminals in Phnom Penh can scam victims in London. Scammers in Bangkok can control servers in Nigeria. And when exposed, they simply switch IPs or crypto wallets and vanish. This invisibility makes cybercrime one of the most dangerous weapons of our time. With such loopholes, Southeast Asia has become one of the most fertile grounds for cybercriminals. It's a region that is vibrant, young, dynamic, and full of potential. But its rapid growth, lack of control, and obsession with easy money have turned it into a golden land for digital crime. The war against cybercrime in Southeast Asia won't end soon, because this isn't just the fight of one country or one police force. It's the battle of every individual between knowledge and ignorance, between vigilance and gullibility, between truth and illusion. And the line separating them is just the screen of your phone. Thank you for following this story. If you found it interesting, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it. For now, this is goodbye. Thank you for staying with Societale Stories.